I'm going live. All righty. The date, January 9th, 1926. The time, well, it wasn't Monday football, I can tell you that much. It was probably 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Giants, when they played a lot of their games at the Polo Ground during the 1925 season, the game started around 2:30. So say 1, 2 o'clock because there were no lights at this fine establishment. The teams, we got the New York Giants taking on the Jacksonville All-Stars. The place, Fairfield Stadium. Now, this is where got some little conflicting reports here. It's Fairfield Stadium. Also, the Giants, after their season ended on December 13th, they played a game against the Chicago Bears in Chicago, Wrigley Park. The Giants, they went on a little barnstorming tour. They went down to Florida, and they actually went out to Los Angeles too after this. But their season ended December 13th. Well, then in January they made it the way down to Florida, and they played. This is to be the second of 3 games they played in Florida. They played the Coral Gable Collegians New Year's Day, January 1st, 1926. Then they played here on the 9th, January 9th. They played the Jacksonville All-Stars. The big name here for the Jacksonville All-Stars was Ernie Nevers. We'll go more in depth and detail on him in just a bit. And then on January 16th, they played the Coral Gable Collegians once again. However, when they played the Coral Gables Collegians, say that 10 times real fast, they played them in 2 different places. They played them in Municipal Field on January 1st, and then they played them at Coral Gable Stadium on January 16th. So they played them in 2 different places. Actually, the first time they played it was in West Palm Beach. All right, that's where Memorial Field is at. And then they played them on January 16th in Coral Gables, Florida, at Coral Gable Stadium. But anyway, before the Giants made their way down, all right, to Florida after the season was over with, the Chicago Bears led the way. Now I got this. This is just, and I get it. I wouldn't, sometimes these guys, the way it is today, the amount of games they play and all that is just, it's all about the Benjamins, right? Everything's all about the Benjamins. But it's if we can look here, or if we can talk here for just a moment here. This is freaking crazy. Let's get the dates here, exact dates here. This is bananas. How many games they played, the Chicago Bears in 1925. From September 20th to January 31st. So just a little over 4 months, like 4 months and about 11 days, right? 4 months, 11 days. 4 months, 11 days. So basically that's pretty much, pretty much a football season, right? 4 months would be about 17 weeks, and another week's 18 weeks. Yeah, that's pretty much very, very darn close to a NFL season. It's like 18, 19 weeks here, right? So in those 18, 19 weeks, the Chicago Bears from September 20th, 1925 until January 31st, 1926, because their season ended, it was the same thing. Their season ended, what do we got here? In September. So then they went on a barnstorming tour of their own, but they led their way. They went to Tampa. They went to Florida first, right? And then they went. Let's see here. They went to actually on Christmas Day they played the Coral Gable Collegians. The Chicago Bears did at Coral Gables Field in Coral Gables. So actually the Bears went down to Florida first, and then the Giants kind of followed. So the Bears played the Coral Gable Collegians, then they played the Tampa Cardinals, Tampa, Florida. Then they played the Jacksonville All-Stars on January 2nd. The Giants played the Jacksonville All-Stars, game I'm going to be talking about here, on January 9th. Then they played the Southern All-Stars. So they went from Florida. They went go west, young man. They went and they played the Southern All-Stars in New Orleans, Louisiana. And then after that, they continued their way on out west, and they played the California All-Stars and the San Francisco Tigers. They played 2 games there. Then they finished up all of this. They went to Portland, Washington, and then they played Portland, Oregon. I'm sorry. Then they played the Washington All-Stars in Seattle, Washington. That's where I got screwed up at there. So they went finishing the regular season. They went to Florida, then they went to Louisiana, then they played 3 games in California. Then they played a game in Oregon, and then they played a game in Washington. All right. So their season started September 20th against the Rock Island Independence. So in those 18, 19 weeks, they played 33 games. 33 games. All right. Yeah, I mean, so you figure nowadays, like in 18-week period, the NFL plays 17 games because there's a bye week. This is unbelievable. They played what we got here? I mean, after, let's say they played the 5th, they played December 5th, they played December 6th, they played December 8th, they played December 9th, they played December 10th, they played December 12th, they played December 13th, played December 16th, they played December 19th, then they played Christmas Day. Then they played January 1st, they played January 2nd, they played January 16th, January 17th, January 30th, January 30th. So they played many games back to back. And not only playing games back to back, this is the Chicago Bears, by the way, right? But a lot of the guys on the team played offense and defense. There was no, I just caught a pass and I ran for 45 yards. Whew, I need a little bit of a breather. I'm only making $25 million a year. Whew, I need let me get a blow there, coach. I need to go drink a little Kool-Aid on the side. And I'm only making $25 million this year. You know what I mean? No, back then, if you came off the field, you were dead. Okay. Yeah. Plain and simple. So these guys back then were making maybe like $150, maybe $100 a game. Maybe some of the upper echelon stars might have been making maybe a couple $100 a game or so. But a lot of these guys, $50, $100 a game, offense and defense. And as I said, the Chicago Bears play, basically what it was every time they played a game, they got paid. There was no, guaranteed contracts, none of this. If you get injured, you're guaranteed there. There's none of that. Basically, these guys, that's why these guys played all these games, right? You played a game. If you survived, here's $100 for you, right? So absolutely crazy. But the Bears, 33 games in like about 18, 19 weeks back then. Absolutely crazy. Well, and also one of the biggest reasons why they started playing so many games was because they got Red Grange, who finished his college career at Illinois, his football career. His football career ended at Illinois in November. Right after that, it was right around Thanksgiving. He signed with the Bears. And he was like Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Babe Ruth, Jesus Christ, kind of like he was so popular. He could pack stadiums and everything. So he could demand, his salary. He could, he was getting part of the ticket prices, but that's why they started playing all these games. And that's why they went on these barnstorming tours and all of that, across the country, because they knew they could, fill up stadiums like the Memorial Coliseum when they played this is the Bears once again on Saturday, January 16th, 1926. They played the Los Angeles Tigers in Los Angeles, California, in the Memorial Coliseum. They 70,000 people went there. I bet you Red Grange made a lot of money that day. But anyway, so the Giants, right? This is the interesting thing here. Where are we at here? This stadium here, the Fairfield Stadium for Jackson on that. Now I'm getting some conflicting reports here. Without spending like hours trying to research this and track down, if I can, I don't even know if I could. I found this here on Wikipedia. Okay. Now, once again, they played in Jacksonville, right? And this is, I typed in Fairfield Stadium. All right. And it actually popped up Gator Bowl Stadium. All right. But it says here, the origins, Jacksonville's first football venue was built in 1927. And in 1928, with a seating capacity of 7,600 people, known as Fairfield Stadium, and that's where the Giants played at, excuse me, for this particular game was Fairfield Stadium. All right. Its primary purpose was to serve as a home field for Jacksonville's 3 new high schools. Lee High School, Jackson High School, and Landon High School. At the opening of the stadium, Florida Governor John W. Martin called the stadium the best place in Florida to watch a football game. Let's see. This particular stadium, on January 1st, 1946, the stadium received national attention when it hosted the first Gator Bowl game. The stadium was expanded to 16,000 seats in 1948, and the structure was renamed the Gator Bowl. Prior to the 1949 game, the seating capacity was expanded to 36,058 people, at which it remained until 1957. Now, of course, let's see here. The stadium here was the stadium was home to the World Football League's Jacksonville Sharks in 1974 and the Jacksonville Express in 1975. It was home to the North American Soccer League team, the Jacksonville T-Men, from 1981 to 84, and then the United States Football League team, the Jacksonville Bulls, from 84 to 85. It was also, for the Gator Bowl and Florida University and all that stuff and everything. So this was called Fairfield Stadium. But the problem is, from reading from Wikipedia here, the stadium was built in 1927. The problem is this game here that the Giants played, and obviously the one that the Bears played against the Jacksonville All-Stars at Fairfield Stadium, was in 1926. That's a problem. So this stadium here that they're talking about that's called Fairfield Stadium was not in existence yet. So the only other thing that I could find, right, I spent about an hour looking for this. I'm like, man, I got to find something. I got to find something on this. The only thing I could find was there was something called Fairfield Park, right? And it says this 4-acre park stretched several blocks at the heart of Fairfield between Adams, Church, Ware, and Victoria Streets. Fairfield, a suburb of Jacksonville, was incorporated as a town in 1880. It was the location of Jacksonville's fairgrounds, which was established in 1876. In 1887, Fairfield was annexed into Jacksonville with a population of 543. Several pedestrian promenades and a pond featuring an island and fountain between Monroe and Duval Streets served as the park's central feature. Fairfield Park was lost to continued expansion of the Gator Bowl and the construction of the Gator Bowl Boulevard. So I don't know if Fairfield Park, because it was built in a certain spot in Jacksonville, and it got overtaken because of the Gator Bowl. So I don't know if they played actually. It was called the Fairfield Park or exactly what. I looked and I looked and I looked and I tried to find a Fairfield stadium. All right, that was a picture or something of a Fairfield Stadium or something from Wikipedia. It says Fairfield Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida, from 1925. I couldn't find anything. The only thing I could find with Fairfield Stadium was what was originally called the Gator Bowl, but it said it got built in 1927. The Giants played this game here in 1926. So it was either Fairfield Stadium or maybe Fairfield Park. But wherever they played at, it wasn't around very, very long. Okay. As I said, this was the Giants' second exhibition game. You know, as I said, they played the Coral Gable Collegians. Oops. I gotta find it there. Sometimes I got so many tabs open. Trying to find it. Okay. So I said, they played the Coral Gable Collegians on January 1st. Then on January 9th, they played the Jacksonville All-Stars, which they're doing right now. And then they played the Coral Gable Collegians once again on January 16th. And then quite possibly and I try to find this out, they went west and they went to Ernie Nevers was going to coach the Giants if they went out. I found an article in the New York Daily News that said Ernie Nevers would coach the Giants in some games out west. So apparently, possibly, I gotta go look. They might have played some games right around where the Bears played. And as I said, once again, after this, I said, once again, the Bears. I gotta find it here. I said the Bears played in Los Angeles. A game they played in San Diego, and they played a game in San Francisco. So they played 3 games in Southern California: Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco. So quite possibly after these games here in Florida, the Giants went west. They might have played some games out in California. So, but that's I got to find more about that. Now the Giants here. Let's see here. I got to find. There's boom. Here we go. Now it's very interesting because you look at these different articles here, and some of them they got to be typo errors because I got to find this. Is this it? Boom. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Now, I'm going to go over these guys. All right. I got a couple articles here, and they have the starting lineups. Now, and once again, I'm going to go over it in more depth and detail these guys. But for the Giants, they have one article, which is the New York Times, has a guy by the name of, let's see here, Roman, who is their end. I couldn't find anybody named Roman, right, from Vanderbilt. However, in this other article, it's from one of the newspapers in Florida. They have Bomar from Vanderbilt. So 2 different newspapers, and they have different starting. Just one guy. They got one guy is switched. So one guy from the Florida paper has Bomar, who plays for the New York Giants, and then the one at New York Times has Roman. I have no idea who that is, right? But let's go over the starting lineup, shall we, for the Jacksonville All-Stars. The first one they got is their left end is Kendrick. And I got 7,000 tabs open up here. Okay, Jim Kendrick. He played a whole lot. He played, wow, it's like every year he played. I mean, 1922, he played for the Toledo Maroons. 1922, he played also for the Canton Bulldogs. 1923, as a player coach, he played for the Louisville Brecks. Then he played 1924 for the Chicago Bears, the Hammond Pros 1925, also the Buffalo Bisons in 1925, also the Rochester Jeffersons in 1925, also the Rock Island Independents in 1925. Holy cow. 4 teams in 1 year. He played for the Buffalo Rangers in 1926 and the New York Football Giants in 1927. He was a 2-time NFL champion. Well, because in 1927, the New York Giants were the champions. So he played for the Giants for 1 year, and it was the first year that they won the championship. And he played for the Canton Bulldogs in 1922. The Canton Bulldogs in 22 and 23 were champions. And then in 1924, the Cleveland Bulldogs were the champions, right? But this guy, Jim Kendrick, he was from Texas A&M. He was a professional American football player during the early years of the National Football League, with the Toledo Maroons, Canton Bulldogs, Louisville Brecks, Chicago Bears, Hammond Pros, Buffalo Bisons, Rochester Jeffersons, Rock Island Independents, Buffalo Rangers, and the New York Giants. Kendrick was a part of the Bulldogs 1922 championship team and the 1927 New York Giants championship team. So, let's see. Jim did not play organized football until he entered Texas A&M. There he earned all conference honors as an end in 1915. During the 1915 season, Kendrick and the Aggies defeated their rival Texas Longhorns 13-0. Jim also played baseball and basketball for the Aggies. So he was, once again, I go these. So Kendrick was from Texas A&M. He was their end. All right. Then the next player was Cy Williams. I can pop him up here. Boom. Cy Williams. Oh. He was their left tackle. Cy Williams. He was from Florida. He was a tackle. He played for the Newark Bears in 1926 and the Staten Isle Stapletons from 29 to 30 and the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1932. But Cy Williams, he was an American college and professional football player who was a tackle for 3 different professional teams in the American Football League and the National Football League during the 1920s and early 1930s. Let's see here. He attended University of Florida in Gainesville. So he was their tackle, Cy Williams. All right, let's get the next one up here. Cy Williams. All right, then Wesley from Alabama was their guard. Pop him up here so I can find all these guys here. Oh, maybe do I have up? His name is Bull Wesley. There you go. He was an American football player. He played college football for Alabama and in the National Football League, NFL, as a center, guard, and tackle and fullback for the Providence Steamroller in 1926 and 1927 and the New York Giants in 1928 and the Portsmouth Spartans in 1930. He appeared in 35 games, 19 as a starter. So it's a shame because he played for the Steamrollers in 27 and the Giants in 28. If he played for the Giants in 27 and the Steamrollers in 28, he would have won 2 championships because the Giants won in 27 and the Providence Steamroller won in 1928. But he played for the Steamrollers in 27 and the Giants in 28. So he was off by a year. But so Bull Wesley. All right, Bull Wesley was their left guard from Alabama. All right, then we have the Stein brothers. I'm going to go over the first one here first. Their center from Pittsburgh, Herb Stein, who is their center. Herbert Alfred Stein was an American football player. He later made his professional debut in the National Football League in 1922 with the Buffalo All-Americans. He played for Buffalo, the Toledo Maroons, Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, and the Pottsville Maroons over the course of his 6-year career. Herb later joined his brother, Russ, as a member of the 1925 Pottsville Maroons team that won the 1925 championship. Wow. They won the 1925 championship, but there was it got stripped from, there was some type of, it was a violation. That's a different story for another day. That could be an hour-long video all by itself. Herb Stein, he grew up in Ohio and attended high school, obviously. Let's see here. After high school, he attended the University of Pittsburgh and served as a team center from 1918 until 1921. He was a consensus All-American for Pitt in both his junior and senior seasons and served as the team's captain in 1920. He was often regarded as one of the team's greatest offensive and defensive centers. His efforts at Pitt earned him induction into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1967. So Herb Stein, right, he was their center But not to be outdone, let me go over an Ehlinger first, okay, from Army. But Stein, Herb Stein, and his brother also played on this team too, right? So Herb Stein was their center, and then Ehlinger. So I got to find. I know I got Ehlinger here someplace now here. Harry Ehlinger, an Army football player. Actually, I had a hard time finding him, but unfortunately, I have his his obituary here, unfortunately. Harry O. Ehlinger, assistant football coach of the United States Military Academy and former Tech High star, will be held in West Point Cemetery Saturday. Ehlinger, who died of an hemorrhage yesterday in Alexandria, Virginia, was graduated from West Point in 1925, but never received his commission because of a heart condition. A star guard on Army's football team, Ehlinger also played baseball, football, and hockey, but his heart would not permit him to pass the rigid physical test for a commission. He became Army line coach in 1928 and served until 1933. He went to Dartmouth in 1934, and Earl Blake, who was a fantastic coach for Army, their football team, for many years. So that's all I could find on Ehlinger. But so Ehlinger, he was their right guard from Army. So now we have the other Stein, was their right tackle, Russ Stein. Russell Frederick Stein was an American football player. He was born in Warren, Ohio. After high school, Stein attended Washington and Jefferson College. Interestingly enough, Washington and Jefferson College is, it doesn't ring a bell to me or not like that, but the Giants coach, the 1925 coach, Bob Folwell, coached Washington and Jefferson College back in the teens. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but one of the years, I think they were they either had one loss or they had one tie or something like that. I mean, he had this guy, Bob Folwell, back in the 1912, 1913, wherever it was, had their team, Washington Jefferson, like one win away from possibly being maybe the Washington and Jefferson, wherever that's at. I don't even know. College, I could figure it out, but he had them like one game away from possibly maybe being declared the champions for that season in football. So Bob Folwell, the Giants coach, 1925, very good football coach. So Russ Stein is here. While in college, he was the captain of Washington Jefferson's 1921 undefeated football team, which played to the only scoreless tie in the history of the 1922 Rose Bowl against California. So the only scoreless tie ever in the Rose Bowl, 1922. Washington and Jefferson. Let me click on it there. Washington Jefferson College. It's a private liberal arts college in Washington, Pennsylvania. So, well, back in the early 1900s, they were a very good football team. This Russ Stein, he was one of 11 players who played in the entire game in which Washington and Jefferson held the Golden Bears to only 49 yards rushing, 2 first downs, and no pass completions. Whew, wow. Stein was named the game's most outstanding player and was inducted into the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame in 1991. He was selected to Walter Camp's All-American team in 1921, where he joined his brother Herb as the first brothers to be named All-Americans in the same year. He was later inducted into the Washington and Jefferson's Athletic Hall of Fame in 1999. Stein made his professional debut in the National Football League in 1922 with the Toledo Maroons. He played in Toledo, Canton Bulldogs, the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, and the Pottsville Maroons over the course of his 4-year career. Stein, along with his younger brother Herb, was also a member of the 1925 Pottsville Maroons team that won the 1925 championship. They got stripped home because of a violation. But so we got the two brothers, the two Stein brothers, very, very good athletes. So Russ Stein, okay, was their right tackle. Now we have their right end is Lawson. All right, so let's find him out. Jim Lawson. There you go. James Wilmer Lawson was an American football end and place kicker who played one season with the New York Yankees of the National Football League. Lawson played college football for the Stanford team at Stanford University. He was a consensus first team All-American in 1924. So a lot of these guys, I mean, it wasn't just like, it was obviously a collection, but I mean, they were superior in they just didn't grab the 13th string guard from Buffalo State, Tech U, and A&M or what. Hey, you want to play? Yeah, come on. No, they got some really good, talented players here, and the best one is yet to come. Ernie Nevers. I mean, he was good, and not only that, but he has this guy Ernie Nevers, who got injured in this game against the Giants, by the way. He has a record in that from 1929, which it's been tied since. We'll go over that in just a couple minutes here. It's been tied since, but nobody's broken it since 1929. Right? But this guy Jim Lawson, their end. Let's see here. He was a consensus for a team All-American 1924. He was also a member of the Los Angeles Wildcats of the American Football League. Let's see here. So he was the Los Angeles Wildcats in 1926 and 1927 with the New York Yankees football team. So he was from college. So that was Lawson. All right. So now Bowser is their quarterback. He was from Pittsburgh. And this is Charlie Bowser. Let's see here. He was pretty much a coach. Pretty much a coach. But when he played at Pittsburgh, he was an end, he was a quarterback, he was a tackle, and he was a center. So let's see. Charlie Bowser was an American football coach. He served as a head coach at Grove City College from 1924 to 1926, at Bodine College. I guess Bodine College from 1930 to 1935, and at the University of Pittsburgh from 1939 to 1942, compiling a career football record of 40, 47, and 6. So he was a, let's see, he was pretty much a coach, but let's see here. But I mean, he played for Pittsburgh, at the University of Pittsburgh. So he was so he played for them. So he was their quarterback. Let's see here. Let me read this up here. Maurer, Adrian Maurer, Maurer. He was their left halfback. Now this is I love these names, boy. Oglethorpe University. There you go. Oglethorpe University, the powerhouse that it was. Adrian Maurer. He played college football as a running back for the Oglethorpe Stormy Petrus football team of the Oglethorpe University. He was inducted into the Oglethorpe University Athletic Hall of Fame in 1962. He was selected second team All-Southern in 1923, and he was the first team All-Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Association in 1923. 1924, he was the captain of the 1924 team, which won the SIAA championship. In 1925, the 1925 team was again the SIAA champion. So he played, actually looks like he played for the Newark Bears in 1926. He played professionally with the Newark Bears. The Bears are remembered for the team's financially weak ownership group, which led to the folding of the team mid-season. The team played only 5 games before it folded in October. So Adrian Maurer, or Maurer, maybe it's Maurer, Maurer. He was our left halfback. Then we got Reese. Oh, I forgot Reese. He's their right halfback. We got to find him. All right, so we got Gil Reese. Okay. David Gil Reese, the Tupelo Flash, they called him, was an American football, basketball, and baseball player for the Vanderbilt Commodores of Vanderbilt University. He was captain of all three of those teams. He was captain of the football team, the basketball team, and the baseball team his senior season. He was the first to do so at Vanderbilt. Gil was the brother of a baseball player, Andy Reese, playing with him on the Florence Independence of Alabama. Let's see. So he played football from 1922 to 25. Let's see. 1926, 1927. He was with the New Bryce Hurricanes. 1933, he was with the Southern Rails baseball team. 1936, he was at Sacred Heart High School. So I mean, looks like after college, he pretty much became pretty much a coach. But Gil Reese for the Jacksonville All-Stars, he was their right halfback. All right, and then we got my man Ernie Nevers he was their fullback, so to speak. He was from he's the one here. Okay, I got some of these things here. Some of these tabs open up here, but he's the one. He still has his record. All right, but we're gonna go over this here in just a second. All right, Ernie Nevers. Let's see here. He was an American football and baseball player and football coach, widely regarded as one of the best football players in the first half of the 20th century. He played as a fullback and was a triple threat man known for his talents in running, passing, and kicking. He was inducted with the inaugural classes in both the College Football Hall of Fame in 1951 and the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1963. Ernie Nevers, the first class inductee in the Professional Football Hall of Fame. He was also named 1969 to the NFL's 1920s All-Decade team. Let's see here. As a player, he played for the Duluth Eskimos from 1926 to 1927. Then he played for the Chicago Cardinals from 29 to 31. And let's go. I'm going to go over this here real fast here. The 1925 season. Okay. The Jacksonville football team. All right. In December 1925, Nevers received between $25,000 to $35,000 to play professional football for a team in Jacksonville, Florida, the Jacksonville All-Stars, which we're talking about right now. Nevers played 2 exhibition games against NFL opponents, the Bears, led by Red Grange, on January 2nd, and then the New York Giants on January 9th, 1926. However, meager crowds forced the team to fold after only 2 games. Let's see here. I can't find what the attendance was for the Giant game, but however, the Bears game, let's see, doesn't have it here. Where the heck are we at? There were 6,700 people. So to see Ernie Nevers play against Red Grange, there was 6,700 people at Fairfield Stadium. So the Bears played the Jacksonville All-Stars on January 2nd, 1926. 6,700 fans showed up. Now, there was probably a lot less people at that Fairfield Stadium, right, to see the Giants play the Jacksonville All-Stars. And there was probably more people that were even pissed off because Ernie Nevers got injured and he had to come out of the game, which we're going to go over in a few minutes here against the Giants. Let's see here. So the Jacksonville All-Stars, because of poor attendance, right? If you don't have people coming in, It's not like the way it is nowadays. If you don't have people coming in, you don't have a crowd and all that stuff and everything, you don't have money coming in, you can't play your players, you can't pay your players, you can't play football. Period. End of story. However, let's go to 1929, Ernie Nevers. All right, here we go. All right. Okay. This just goes to show you, right? On November 24th, 1929, Nevers scored all 19 points, 3 touchdowns, and an extra point in the Cardinals' 19-0 victory over the Dayton Triangles, who were playing in their final game before moving to Brooklyn to embark on their long and erratic history through the league. But anyway, so they played the Chicago Cardinals, Ernie Nevers, right? He played November 24th. 4 days later, the Chicago Cardinals played once again. So on November 28th, 1929, Nevers set, and it's been tied since, but he set a record for points scored by a player in a single game. Oh, actually, this is a record. However, he scored 6 touchdowns since it's been tied. I mean, there's 7 passing touchdowns has been done multiple times, but scoring 6 rushing touchdowns or however you want, Gale Sayers did it, but he returned a punt for a touchdown and all that. But Ernie Nevers scored 6 touchdowns. He was the first one to score 6 touchdowns in a game. But I think the record of his 40 points, I think, is still holds true because he actually, I guess he kicked a couple extra points. So on November 28, 1929, Ernie Nevers set an NFL record for points scored by a player in a single game. He scored all 40 points in the Chicago's 40-6 victory over the Chicago Bears. In that game, Nevers scored 6 rushing touchdowns, which remained an unshared NFL record until Alvin Kamara also accomplished the feat on Christmas Day in 2020 against the Vikings. Well, that's 6 rushing touchdowns, I guess it was. I mean, Gale Sayers did in 1965, his rookie season. He scored 6 touchdowns against the San Francisco 49ers. So, but Nevers also kicked 4 extra points in the same game. So he scored 6 touchdowns and kicked 4 extra points. So he scored himself 40 points in an NFL game, which is, I guess, would be an NFL record. So, so Ernie Nevers was the big star. He was the big attraction for the Jacksonville All-Stars. He was the big name. All right, so the Giants here. Now the Giants, their team. I'm gonna pop this up. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna pop this out here. Okay, so the Giants, they where are we at here? Their left end was Reynolds. I gotta find. Once again, I do apologize. I got 74,000 tabs open up here. I gotta find them. Okay, here we go. So Reynolds, he played for them in 1925. Did he play for them in 26? There's sometimes a lot of turnovers there. Yeah, I don't see him. So Reynolds. Once again, I pop. Oh, there we go. Reynolds. He played. He was the Giants' left end. He played for him in 25. Didn't play for him in 26. The New York Giants' left tackle was Milstead. He played for them in 1925, and he did not play for the Giants in 1926. So they said back then you'd think there's a lot of turnover nowadays. There was a lot of turnover back then as well, too. A lot of guys played like one season, as we saw. I mean, some guys played 2 or 3 different teams in the same season, right? All right, so the Giants, let's see. So their left tackle was Milstead, who played for the Giants in 1925. The left guard, Williams, for the Giants. He played in 1926 for the Giants, and he played 1925 for him as well, 25 and 26. Joe Williams. All right, he was their left guard. Now, Alexander, he played in 1925. He played in 1926. He was their center, but he also in 1925 26, only for 1 year. His name was Doc Alexander. He was their center, but he was also their coach in 1926. Now he was a doctor. That was the reason for him being pretty much, I read, being let go after the 26 season, because the Giants wanted somebody who could devote pretty much all their time to, during the season anyway, to coaching the team. And Doc Alexander, he had his practice. So usually, what happened a lot of times was, like, during the morning, he would be a doctor. So he would come to practice in the afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock or whatever. So sometimes, he would be there. Sometimes he might be a little late or whatever it was, but he couldn't devote all of his time to being the head coach. So they wanted somebody after 26, after the season, they got somebody who was pretty much more of a full-time coach. So, but the Giants center, Alexander, he was with the Giants in 25 and 26. Now, Carney, he was the Giants' right guard. Let's see here. Art Carney, he was for the Giants in 1925. And Art Carney, he was with the Giants in 1926. Interestingly enough, I've seen this a lot too, and I just haven't thought about mentioning it, but this happens a lot. Now, Art Carney in 1925 it is what it is. He was number 23. 1926, for some reason, he became number 29. That happened a lot. Actually, that really did happen. It happened a lot back then. All right, so the Giants, let's see, Parnell was their right tackle. Let's see, he was with the Giants in 1926, and I believe he was with the Giants in 1920. Yeah, Babe Parnell. Babe Parnell, he was the Giants' right tackle in this game. Then Bomar, all right, he was the right end. He was with the Giants in 25. Lynn Bomar, he was with the Giants in 1925 and 1926 too, right? Yeah, 1925 and 26. So in this game, Lynn Bomar was the Giants' right end. The Giants' quarterback, Palm, Palm, he was with the Giants in 1926, and he was with the Giants in 1925. All right, oops, wrong one here. All right, so then we got White, Phil White. He was the left halfback, but he was also, remember during the regular season, he was also sometimes a Giants fullback. He was from Oklahoma. Phil White, in this game, they got him listed as a left halfback. He was with the Giants in 1925 and in 1926. And of course, I always get the my bad. He wasn't with the Giants in 26. I'm sorry, I thought he was. But 1925, he was the first Giants player ever to wear number 0. So if you ever, who's the first player to ever wear a number? It wasn't Paris Campbell, I can tell you that much. It was Phil White, 1925. He only played a couple games for the Giants. He only played 3 games for the Giants. But I thought he was with them, but nope, was not with the Giants in 1926. All right. All right, so then we got Benkert was the right halfback. He was with the Giants. I know he's with the Giants in 25, right? Heine Benkert. There you go. Heine. He was with the Giants in 1925. He was not with the Giants in 1926. He was there in this game. What do they got there? He was their right halfback. And then McBride from Syracuse. He was with the Giants in 25 and in 26. 1925. In 1925, he played in all 12 games, started all 12 games for the Giants. 1926, he played in all 13 games. He started in 9 of them, but he played in all 13. The Giants in 1925 were 8-4. 1926, they were 8-4-1. So that's why they played the one extra game there. But those were your lineups there. There'll be one other guy that I'm going to talk about. Who wound up being a substitute for Ernie Nevers because he wound up getting injured in this game. It is what it is. But it's interestingly, the New York Times article I'm going to go over has they have their own kind of article, but then you go to I got like 4 different articles from Florida. They're all different I'll read like once the Tampa Tribune or something like that, or I'll go over that. But they all pretty much have the same exact wording, all of them, right? The headlines are different, but the wording is all pretty much the same. So let me go over the New York Times. I went through the Daily News. They had New York Daily News. They didn't have nothing at all on the Giants in this game. But the New York Times, right, their article here. Giants win 7-0, a barn burner. Nevers is hurt, Ernie Nevers, the big draw, the big attraction for the Jacksonville All-Stars, right? Torn ligaments put the Jacksonville Star out of Florida game in the third period. Giants McBride gets a touchdown. Blocked kick and 2 penalties paved the way for a smash over the line in the closing minutes. They didn't score until the fourth quarter. Oh, boy. Not like the Giants nowadays, right? They can't score. The offense can't score any points in the first half, right? All right, so we got Jacksonville, Florida, January 9th, 1926. The New York Giants defeated the Jacksonville Stars, or All Stars, I guess, in a professional football game at Fairfield Stadium here this afternoon, 7-0. The lone score of the game was made late in the last period when a line smash through center by McBride gave the Giants the only tally. Ernie Nevers, former Stanford star, now fullback and captain of the Jacksonville 11. Now, I'm kind of maybe assuming maybe he was the coach, the captain, because it says nothing at all about any coaches. Bob Folwell, I read our article, was the Giants, when the Giants played the Coral Gable Collegians on January 1st, it was talking about Bob Folwell was the coach of the Giants. But here it doesn't say anything at all about who's a coach. Right? Let's see here. Ernie Nevers, former Stanford star, now fullback and captain of the Jacksonville 11, went out of the game in the third period with torn ligaments in his back. Whew, Jacksonville won the toss, and Nevers kicked off to the Giants' 15-yard line. White returned the ball to the 30-yard line. 3 tries through the line. Only got the Giants failed to gain. And White punted 40 yards to Reese. Nevers tried a forward pass and then punted over the goal line. The ball was returned, and Jacksonville was penalized 15 yards for holding. Nevers kicked again. The Giants then made 2 first downs through line play. Then it says both sides resort to punting. Neither team threatened during the first period, and the ball seesawed back and forth inside the 20-yard lines, with punts following failure to make first downs on the part of both teams. The Giants waded deep into the Stars' territory in the second period. 3 first downs were made by crashing line plays by White and McBride. On Jacksonville's 17-yard line, the Giants were stopped when the Stars braced. Ooh. Nevers took time out for the first time since coming to Jacksonville when he attempted to hurdle the line on an off-tackle play and was dumped with a thud heard all over the field. The Giants were penalized 5. This article, I think it says 5. I think in the other articles, we're going to go over those in just a minute. I think it says 15 yards the Giants got penalized for. But in this article, the New York Times says the Giants were penalized 5 yards for roughing. Nevers, after 2 tries at forward passes failed, punted out of danger. The Giants then made 2 unsuccessful line plays, and the half ended with the ball at the Giants' 40-yard line. Nevers went out of the game early in the third period. His injury in the second period was apparently slowed him down, and he was replaced by Brown, formerly of Pitt. So this guy Brown, of Pitt. Yep. Let's see if I can find him. Oh, there we go. Jesse Brown. This is the guy who replaced Ernie Nevers. He was an American football player who professionally played for the Pottsville Maroons of the early National Football League. After attending and playing for the University of Pittsburgh, he played in 13 games for the Maroons during the 1926 season. So Jesse Brown, he's the one that replaced Ernie Nevers. All right, here. Let's see here. The third period was almost a repetition of the first and second. Both teams failed to gain through the line, and the result was punting. It was a punting duel between White and the Giants and Brown, the one who replaced Ernie Nevers. Late in the period, White unsuccessfully tried a placement kick from the 50-yard line. The quarter ended with a punt by Brown, which went out of bounds at the Giants' 30-yard line. So the Giants actually had a field goal attempt from midfield, but it was negated. The Giants continued their straight football tactics in the fourth period, interspersing line plays and end runs with an occasional forward pass. With the ball in Jacksonville's territory late in the period, Brown's punt from the 25-yard line was blocked. This was the turning point in the game, right? Late in the fourth period, Brown's punt, the one who replaced Ernie Nevers, from the 25-yard line was blocked. Line plays took the balls to the Stars' 10-yard line, and there, two offside penalties gave McBride his opportunity. He plunged through the center over the goal line. Reese made a pretty return of the ensuing kickoff, returning the ball from his own 10-yard line to the 36-yard mark. Shortly afterward, Alexander, right, for the Giants, their center, intercepted a forward pass that was from Brown to Bowser, and the game ended. Giants 7-0. They scored. So McBride scored the touchdown. He ran it in, and he kicked the extra point. So only 7 points got scored in the entire game. And it was in the fourth period. So that was. So let me read. I'm going to go over. Let's go over some of these other articles here if I can find them. There we go. All right. Jacksonville All-Star Grid team is defeated by Giants in hard-fought game by a score of 7-0. Now, I'm just going to read pretty much just this one because all four articles I got. This one is from the Pensacola News. Let's see here. What is this one here? This one's from the Tampa Tribune. It says Jacksonville Stars lose to the New York Giants 7-0. Nevers is injured during the game. This one is from the Pensacola News. Didn't I just say the Pensacola News? Yeah. All right. And then, hold on. We got, what do we got here? Then this one is from the, does it say at the bottom down here? Well, this is another one of the articles. I mean, it's from a different newspaper, but I'll read the one because they all say the same thing. All saying the same exact thing. Ernie Nevers, All-American fullback, is injured in Jacksonville, Florida. Oh, let's see. I'm going to open it. There you go. So I can read it. Here we go. The New York Giants, relying mainly on straightforward football, defeated the Jacksonville All-Stars 7-0 here this afternoon. Ernie Nevers, former Leland Stanford fullback and virtually a unanimous choice for All-Americans, suffered torn ligaments in his back when he injured it in the second period. He was making his appearance in his second professional game. Physicians said he would be out of the game for several days. Nevers was injured when he attempted to hurdle on a line play, and Williams, the Giants guard, see, this is where this guy, the confliction here says, Williams, all right, the Giants left guard, caught him in the air and crashed him to the ground, just slammed him down The Giants drew a 15-yard penalty for roughing on the play. So when the New York Times said the Giants got penalized 5 yards, here in this article here from the Tampa Tribune, it was says the Giants got drew a 15-yard penalty. So it is what it is, right? Brown's punt was blocked. The Giants, functioning with the smoothness of a machine, cracked the Jacksonville defense for a touchdown in the last period. Shortly after the fourth quarter began, the Giants worked the ball to the Jacksonville 25-yard line. Here they were twice stopped with losses, and the Giants punted over the goal line. Well, they punted from the 25. Well, maybe the 30, 35 yard. So they punted over the goal line. Jesse Brown, former Pittsburgh halfback who replaced Nevers at fullback, made 9 yards on 3 line plunges and then kicked. So it was 4th and 1. They didn't go for it. It wound up costing them the game. The punt was partially blocked by New York. There was a wild scramble for the oval, and New York recovered. The Giants then made 2 first downs through the line, the last play carrying the ball to the Jacksonville 5-yard line. Herb Stein, Herb Stein, the center, broke through the Giants line before the ball was snatched. An ensuing penalty carried the ball to the 2.5-yard line. So Herb Stein jumped offside. McBride went over for the touchdown and booted the placement for the additional point. The game was a seesaw affair throughout. The Jacksonville 11 was outweighed several pounds to the man by the New York team, but stiffened throughout most of the game when the ball was near the all-star 20-yard line. And it says here, threatened once. The All-Stars were dangerous only once. Late in the closing minute of the second period, a New York fumble was recovered near the 1-yard line, but the whistle blew just as the team was gathering to line up for the next play. Oh, wow. So Jacksonville had the ball. According to this, they recovered the ball at the 1-yard line, but the whistle blew just as the team was gathering to line up for the next play. So as they were gathering, wow, holy cow. So if they had one play, they might have scored and it might have been a tied. Wow. The fumble came after Nevers had punted into Giants territory. The Giants were attempting to work out of danger before punting when a bad pass from center rolled back almost to the goal line and was nailed by the Jacksonville men. So I guess it was a bad pass. Maybe it was a bad snap that rolled back from center, almost to the Giants goal line. Nevers carried the ball 6 times for a total of 25 yards and punted 6 times for an average of 46 yards before going out of the game. That's pretty good punt average. 46 yards on average, a punt. He attempted 5 forward passes, none being completed. 1 was intercepted. White and McBride each missed long attempts at field goals during the game. So remember, the 1 was kicked from the 50-yard line. And apparently it had another long kick the Giants tried, and they missed them both. A crowd, here you go. Here you go. Okay, cool. A crowd here of less than 2,500 attended the contest. So 6,700 saw the same. So the Jacksonville played the Bears. 6,700. Crowd of less than 2,500 attended this contest. So 2,500, less than 2,500. So you can't, a crowd of 2,500. Usually the visiting team is guaranteed so much money. And, so you get whatever you got out of the 2,200 people there. I mean, they might have made $1,500, maybe $2,000 or so. I mean, you can't pay these guys, the money to play if, you need the people in the stands. And less than 2,500 people was not going to get it done. So that's, so the Giants wind up prevailing. As what you saw, I mean, they what the heck? It was wound up being a good game. It was a little, I guess maybe what you want to call it, maybe a little on the boring side. 7-0, but Giants would wind up prevailing, right? 7-0, but touchdown. had to wait till the fourth quarter for a touchdown. Each team had its chance, but it's not the offensive juggernauts that it is nowadays. I mean, it's just it was a lot different back then, 1926. So that pretty much wraps this up. So the next video will be the Giants playing the Coral Gables Collegians once again on January 16th, 1926. But as of right now, that's pretty much what happened on this day, January 9th, 1926, in New York football Giants history. I'll see you next time.